Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Running the Bases. We are so excited to be here. It is Wednesday, August 12th. We are going to be covering everything from what am I talking about? August 6th through August 11th. We're off and running. We're off to a great start tonight. But this is going to be a great show today. And before I even get into any of these things, I have a little surprise for the rest of these guys and for the viewers watching that. Starting today, we are officially going to be cutting out the team overview for the week on the podcast because we are going to be starting something new where we are going to be doing something on our own on the YouTube channel for our team. So we can do either a daily overview, a weekly overview, whatever we want to do. Instead of talking about it on the podcast, we will all individually be making our own videos about our teams on the YouTube channel. So let's say, like, I've been thinking I want to do daily updates, after the game, like game recaps and stuff. Whatever you guys feel most comfortable doing. You don't even have to do it at all. It's just a matter of, showing your support for your team and getting your stuff for your team out there so that people can talk about it and we're not spending too much time on the podcast. So that I'm really excited about. You might be seeing videos from that already starting today. We've got a lot of games on tap for today, and it's really just a matter of who wants to do what. You might have some people that want to do, like me, doing a daily recap, and then some people that might want to just sit there and do a weekly recap. You never know. So I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I think that'll be a great opportunity for all of us. Yes, Marco.
Is there a bonus in our contract for that? I'm just asking.
It's included. It is included.
Because this wasn't brought up in our contract negotiations. I'm just saying.
That is why it's optional.
Either bonus or pay.
It is optional. You do not have to do this.
Can I talk to an agent and maybe make a move before the trade deadline?
Yes. Of course you can.
Yeah.
So we are excited today. We've got a lot of things to cover. A lot of stuff has happened. We're going to go with a little bit of a different news way of giving the news out, where we're all going to be talking about something in particular. So Marco, you're going to be kicking this one off.
So the one I have today is obviously, as you can see, I'm finally wearing a Dodger gear because I'm back from San Francisco. But the biggest one, obviously, like I said, the Dodger guy gets this one. But the Houston Astros going in a brawl against the Oakland Athletics. And I just got to say that I was so happy for the Athletics because of this, because of what happened. I think it was funny. I keep forgetting his name. Larno? Is it Larno? Laureano. There you go. I always mispronounce his name. Laureano. I think it was fun how he was basically teaching how to throw a slider. And he was like, you know what, dude? Like, your release point's this way. So he didn't seem very upset because of the fact, like, it hit him. But the fact how the Astros hitting coach is the one that got really into it, that's what got me. So I'm like, dang, this is crazy. But the thing that got me even so more confused is, yes, they go into a brawl. They break all social distancing protocols that the MLB is considering or putting into like they're making them enforce them. And one player gets 6 games, and the hitting coach gets 20 games. But Joe Kelly got 8 games for not hitting anybody, for not charging anybody. So
to be fair, they didn't suspend the pitcher. To be real, they didn't suspend the pitcher.
There you go. And
which is also even worse.
It's even worse because Joe Kelly didn't hit anybody at all. Nice swing. Bleep. That's it. The other guys, they're like, come here, dude. Come on, let's go. The Astros initiated it. Hitting coach gets 20 games. The batter got 6 games. The pitcher didn't get any, but Joe Kelly gets 8 games. Man, I was about to say, like, okay, since he got hit with the baseball, watch basically Joe Kelly get another 8 games, And I saw a meme on Facebook that I'm going to share with you guys really, really quick. It said, breaking, Rob Manfred has announced the punishments for the benches clearing incident between the A's and Astros on Sunday evening. Laureano is suspended for the next 5 seasons without pay, and the Astros have to pay a $20 fine plus a bag of Oreos. Joe Kelly has also been suspended 8 more games for his role in the incident.
Love that.
If I was a really early baseball fan, I would have fallen for it because it seems like that's something baseball will do.
A bag of Oreos.
But yeah, it's just surprising. But that's it.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Very, very unique way to start the season out, that's for sure. Obviously, a lot of people were talking about it. I remember watching the video, and the athletics announcer, the first thing he said was, "This is what cannot happen." And he's absolutely right. We can't be having things like that, not only because of the social distancing, but because of the suspensions in such a short season. That hitting coach is now going to miss 1/3 of the season. In the equivalent of a regular season, that's about 55 games that he would be suspended for. That's insane. That's like a PED suspension. So that's crazy, and that's automatically going to leave a mark on the Astros. But that moves us on to the next topic, which is going to be the one that I'll be covering, which is Marcus Stroman, the New York Mets pitcher who has opted out for the season. Yet another Met taking the low road to leave baseball for the year. Such a disappointing one. This one at least is over COVID reasons, other than Cespedes, who was not. Stroman has been mulling this over for a long time. Before this all started, Marcus Stroman has been saying, like, look, this isn't going to be an easy season for me. And he said he's been talking to his family about it for a very long time. But the bigger problem is that he got hurt in summer camp, and he knew that he wasn't going to be able to be back right away. He was actually planning on starting in 5 days from now, which was going to be his first start of the season. He was going to throw a sim game tonight, and that was going to be the road for recovery for the Mets, who have been really struggling pitching-wise, and the Mets really needed him to come back. This is a team that has been really focusing on getting runs, and they haven't been able to do that. So they need their pitching to be top notch. They're missing that number 5 starter. I mean, we've brought David Peterson up, who's been fantastic in his starts, but Michael Wacha is now injured. So the Mets still haven't even named their starter for tonight's game, and it's in 5 hours. So that right there just goes to show you how little trust the Mets have in their depth for their starting pitchers. So it's very disappointing to me. Stroman obviously had his reasons for opting out. He will enter free agency. He will leave the Mets, honestly, on a weird note. A guy who had a pretty solid end to the year last year, and then he leaves the team now in a time where we needed him most. It stings. But the one thing that makes you feel a little better is that in his interview when he was leaving, he did say that he loves the Mets and he loves the way that this team feels. He really hopes that he can make his way back onto the team next year because he really loves what's going on in New York. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Mets bring Stroman back, but it really hurts because last year the Mets traded away their top prospects to get Marcus Stroman at the deadline in anticipation for him to pitch in this season, and now he doesn't even get to throw a single pitch this year. So very disappointing, and that's just been a heartbreaking move for the Mets to lose Marcus Stroman. So it's a tough pill to swallow. I'm hoping that the Mets can get through it, but as of right now, it's just seeming like there's a lot of questions going on. Thankfully, though, the trade deadline's coming up. You might see the Mets make a move there. So you never know. But that's my spiel on Marcus Stroman.
So sorry for your loss, Michael. All I got to say.
It's tough. Also, Ryan, it's your turn.
Okay, so the news I would bring today is the Cleveland Indians' disaster of Zach Plesac and Mike Clevenger. Both of them left the team hotel and went to a club, I think, out on Saturday night. I'm just going to say this. How stupid do you have to be to do that? I'm sorry. That's ridiculous. You have to know by now to not pull this stuff. Look what happened to Williams. Look what happened to Richaun Holmes. Do you not see this stuff? Are you living under a rock? Like, I'll take it because that just loses good players for the Indians. Like, I'll take it. Nick and I will take it. Screw the Indians. But you don't understand how stupid this is. Like, I'm sorry, but Terry Francona, if I were him, I probably would have laid into them and nearly slapped them. Just because they've emphasized
Someone would be a great manager.
Time after time again. They've made it clear. Manfred made it clear. If you're better, we'll get down. Where is their heads in this? But Plesac was sent home. Clevenger wasn't. It's because he hid the fact that he was there. If one of those two has COVID, then there's going to be a huge issue with the Indians. And honestly, if I'm Manfred, I might I might suspend them for a week or two to make sure that everything, in case they were exposed, is gone. If I were the Indians, I'd keep them away for a week or two just to be safe. So that's my spiel on it. But that was just a dumb idea by both those guys.
I think the biggest thing about that is the fact how Mike Clevenger is the ace of the Indians, and he didn't lead by example and all that kind of stuff,
And please tell us, like, incoming pitcher too.
Wow, we're all talking over each other. What Ryan was trying to say is that Shane Bieber's the ace. He is nowhere.
Yeah,
near
I know. I know. Like now he is, but always like coming into the season, we knew that Mike Clevenger was going to be the labeled ace of the Indians. Doesn't mean he was, but he's considered the ace of the Indians. But now, of course, with Shane Bieber, the way he's pitching, I'm pretty sure he's considered the new ace of the Indians. But you get what I'm saying,
right? Of course. All right, Nick, we roll to you.
All right, so it seems like this is like the 5th time this happened to him in his career, but Yankee slugger Giancarlo Stanton is going to the IL 3 or 4 weeks with the hamstring issue. Talking to Aaron Boone, obviously I didn't touch Aaron Boone, like reports.
I was like, dang, look at Nick, bro, talking to Aaron Boone. Dang, look at that.
It's a grade 1 hamstring problem, and the Yankees have decided to call up Clint Frazier, which I think could be a huge opportunity for him. But obviously, this obviously is a terrible blow for the Yankees. Giancarlo Stanton actually got off to a great start the year. He had like 3 home runs before the injury. He was hitting for actually average instead of just power this year, which I thought was a great sign. He was looking good, healthy, but obviously, bigly Yankees. Clint Frazier will look to take up that spot and hopefully secure it. We hopefully will see Stanton sometime in late to mid-September. It just depends on his rehab and how well he fares with that hamstring. But that's the news for me.
Yeah, definitely a big blow there. So we move on to the top 4 plays of the week. We're going to go in order of how we appear on screen. Me, Nick, Ryan, and Marco. So that means that I'll be kicking it off with one of my most respectable players in Major League Baseball, Mike Trout. The birthday boy did it again. In his 7 birthday games that he has played in his career, he has now homered in 5 of them. He added a number to that last week with a big home run on his birthday. It doesn't get cooler than that. It's so awesome to see a guy like Mike Trout, how respected he is in the game, to come out every single year. 5 out of his 7 birthdays, he has hit a home run. It doesn't get any better than that. It is so exciting to see, that's just something special. It's very unlikely that you can even hit a home run on your birthday. For a lot of people, they don't even get to play on their birthday, but Mike Trout is just somehow the superstar on his birthday. The birthday superstar is what should be his new nickname. So that's my play of the week. I think it's a very exciting thing, and obviously that's going to be something to keep in mind next year. Nick, it's you.
So we talked about it in other shows. The fact that how Nick Markakis opting out was a big blow to the Braves. Well, he didn't waste any time making an impact. He hit a walk-off home run just recently this week with his first game back. And it just shows you how big of a bat this guy is in the Braves lineup and how much of an impact. Obviously, with Acuna struggling to start, Freeman's been doing great. But yeah, Nick Markakis now just adds that power, that stability to that lineup, and he made an impact his first game.
Now with me, the highlight of my week is, yes, I'm going to stick with a Dodger player. It might seem biased, but I just got to give kudos to this kid because he is striking out kids left and right. Well, I'm not saying like these past couple games hasn't been a lot of strikeouts, but I got to go with Dustin May from the Dodgers because of the fact like how dirty he struck out not once but twice with the 2-seam fastball with so much break against Manny Machado. It was so nasty. I'm like, I saw an overlay of how his 2-seam and his slider look next to each other. The guy covers so much ground, it's ridiculous, So I got to give big respect for Dustin May. But another big thing is he's basically carrying the Dodgers pitching staff. Because of the fact Clayton Kershaw, he was injury the first couple of weeks into the season. He had a really good first start. Walker Buehler still trying to find his game. Julio Urias, he's okay. He's doing okay. But if you look at Dustin May, obviously, if you guys saw yesterday's game against the Padres, Stripling got destroyed by the Padres. But if you look at Dustin May, the most he's given up in one single game in earned runs is 2. And prior to that, in his last 3 starts, he only had 2 earned runs and 1 earned run and another earned run in another game. So out of his 4 starts, he's only conceded 6 earned runs. That speaks level for a kid so young, and just how much he's been able to bring up to the mound at the Dodgers organization, being the pitching staff they have and being the quality of team they are. So I gotta give kudos to Dustin May for what he's doing right now. Ryan?
For me, my highlight of the week has to be Fernando Tatis with hitting back-to-back leadoff home runs in 2 straight games. He is playing at an insane level. We all thought, at least I'm under the impression, Michael's not going to like this, but if he would have stayed healthy, I think he would have won Rookie of the Year last year. He is easily entering the conversation to be one of the top shortstops in the entire league, and he is playing at an elite level. He is honestly in the MVP conversation and is at the top of his game. And he's only in his 2nd season.
Kid's good. Can't argue with that. He is amazing. He would not have won the Rookie of the Year last year, but he's still an amazing player. I give him incredible props for being the player he is. He is such a fantastic player. So I can't wait to see what he could do in the future. Doesn't matter to me what he does from now on because he didn't win the Rookie of the Year. So it doesn't matter to me. he could be a 50 home run a year guy. It doesn't matter. He didn't win Rookie.
Hey guys, I just saw this. I see it on SportsCenter. Indians placed Mike Clevenger and Zach Plesac on restricted list.
Oh wow.
Hold it.
So yeah, I just saw this right now. I have SportsCenter right now, and it said Plesac and Clevenger they're put on restricted list. Just want to say that.
It's honestly for the health of the team. It's a smart move.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that's breaking news right here on Running the Bases. So that brings us over to the standings update. We're really motoring through today. I'm proud of us. So here in the National League, we take a look at the National League. National League East is obviously the first one. This is my home division as of right now, until I, obviously decide to decide to fade away from the New York Mets because of a disappointing there. Obviously, I'm never going to do that, but that's okay.
You can always enter the transfer portal, man. Age deadline is going to come really quick.
If I'm not entering the transfer portal, you're not allowed to, okay?
I was kidding.
If Blank are entering it, you're not entering it.
That's very true.
I got my y'alls till the day I die.
Hey, Nick, you've got plenty of reason not to enter it. You're half a game back. Let's be real.
Yeah.
So, NL East, we've got the Miami Marlins sitting pretty at the top of the division. They are games backwise in a tie with the Atlanta Braves, but they also have a winning percentage over 60 points higher. So that is that's interesting. Marlins still leading the division. This is now they have led the division since the beginning of the season. So, okay. I don't know. I have no words for that. The Miami Marlins are leading the division still. Unbelievable. The Mets beat them in 2 games. They've lost 3 in a row, but they're still 7-4 because they were 7-1. Last week we were talking they were 3-1. Now they were 7-1 at one point. So they are on fire. There's no question about it. They last night in their game against the Blue Jays were losing 4-1 going to the 9th inning. Francisco Cervelli hit a 3-run homer to tie the game, which was insane. Such a crazy season these Marlins are having, fueled by Francisco Cervelli. But that NL East, Mets sitting all the way down there in the bottom at 7-11. And it's been a disappointing start to the season, but we'll come back. It's okay. Positivity. We still can salvage the series against the Nationals. It's okay. We'll figure it out. So then move to the NL Central.
You guys got killed by the Nationals
2 days ago. Yes,
you guys got killed.
That was yesterday was a 2-1 final.
3-1.
2-1.
What was it? 2 days ago, 16-9.
16-4. 16-4.
Oh dang.
Yeah, it was worse.
That was bad.
It was very bad. Luis Guillorme came in to pitch in the 9th inning, so that was. Last night 2-1 wasn't terrible. I mean, they were able to pitch pretty well, which is awesome. Made me feel pretty good. Yes, it was 16-4. It was a bad blow.
You guys are worse than the Royals.
The Mets run. Hey! Let's not go that far. We have the same record, okay? Come on.
$50 who has a better record at the end of the
Gambling club. You need to stop right now. You have $70 on the line.
Ryan just comes out. He's like, $700 that the Royals place higher than the Dodgers.
Okay. No, I'm not stupid.
I'll take that bet. I'll take that bet, brother.
I would absolutely do that with you, Ryan, because the Mets are finishing higher than the Royals, but we're not shaking on that because that's stupid. I'm not taking your money. I'm not that greedy. Good God. So we are.
So what?
What'd you say?
Am I greedy then or not? Or what?
No, you guys bet like what, 20? He's offering me $50 free. Why am I going to do that?
We're up to 50, right, Ryan?
Well, you guys are also close. You're like, yours is a toss up. I'm just stealing his money.
Is it 20 or 50? I don't remember.
We did 50. You raised the stake.
Who cares? I need to take you to a gambling addiction convention, Ryan. Because every episode I've been here.
Stop talking about me. Enough about me.
No, because every episode I've been on, you're like, I'll bet you this. I'll bet you this. I'll bet you this.
We're supposed to be under an hour. This stuff is not going to get us there. So let's get back on track and let's go ahead to the NL Central. Michael, take it over.
You're getting us on track. Interesting.
It's okay, Ryan.
I bet you won't get us on track next episode.
$20. Central is currently being dominated right now by the Chicago Cubs. They are 11-3. I mean, I can't believe it. They are the only team that is over 500 in that division, which is already right off the bat an insane way for them to be going about this season. A team that I don't think anybody expected to make the postseason. So good for them, 11-3. The Reds are just holding on, but all the way down there at the bottom. I feel so terrible for the Pirates. They're 3-13. I mean, that is the worst record in baseball. They're on pace to have the worst record in baseball history. They're struggling. They might not get over 10 wins this year. It would be terrible. So the poor Pirates, I mean, it's just been a rough year for them. I remember they had such budding talent last year, and that's really not playing out. They're 9 back. Then we go to the NL West, and man, oh man, has this been the story all season long. The Colorado Rockies, by a game and a half, are leading that division, and as of right now, that is a massive blow to the Dodgers, who are tied for second with the San Diego Padres. So 2 teams in that division. First of all, the Rockies, I don't think anybody expected to do well. And I mean, obviously the Padres are a team that I thought would do pretty well, but not as well as they're doing right now. So this has been a crazy season so far for that NL West. Obviously, we're going to be keeping tabs on that every single week, and Marco's keeping tabs on it every day. So that'll be an interesting division as we go throughout the rest of the season. American League side, the Yankees are struggling, man. They are 5-5 in their last 10. They are only a game and a half over the Rays. They are at risk of losing this division because of their recent struggles. Losing Stanton is clearly playing in against their favors. So they're 11-6 right now. That's not the way they wanted to go out. And the Red Sox at the bottom of that division are 6-11. So the AL East, again, another division we're going to have to keep tabs on. But this one, oh boy, this one is one that we are going to be really keeping tabs on. This is the AL Central. The Minnesota Twins do lead this division by a half a game with an 11-7 record over, guess who? The Detroit Tigers, who are 9-6, having probably the best season they've had since, 2013. So good for the Tigers. They are on fire. Their run differential 0. They're the only team in baseball that is a broken even run differential. They are 6 for their last 10. And, I mean, right now the Indians are a game behind the Twins. And, you take a look all the way there at the bottom of the division. Ryan and I sitting both at the bottom of their divisions at 7-11. So I feel for you. I definitely feel for you.
I don't know why you guys are talking crap on the Royals. We won 4 out of our last 5.
Congrats.
Just Tigers are going to choke. The Royals are going to come out of the water. Okay,
4 out of your last 10.
Positivity.
You've won 4 out of your last 5 and 4 out of your last 10. So let's be real here. Let's not be bragging.
While you're talking, you lost 16-4.
That's one game. That is one game. The Mets are also 4 out of their last 10. So we have literally the same exact stuff.
So why are you talking?
The only thing that separates us is the run differential, which we are 20 runs. We have a worse run differential by 20 runs over you. So you can feel pretty good about that because technically, if you look at that, I'm aware. That's why I'm not wearing a Mets shirt today. So that brings us to the AL West, the division where the Oakland Athletics have taken over by storm, and every other team in that division has 7 wins. But the weirder thing that I don't think I even noticed until right now is that the losses go up by 1 loss per team. The Rangers, Astros, Angels, and Mariners all have 7 wins, but the Rangers have 9 losses, Astros have 10, Angels have 11, and the Mariners have 12. That's pretty funny. I like that. That's a fun little number to look at. So the Athletics, man, they're kicking butt out there in that division. Again, the only team that is over 500. They have a 4-game lead, which is also the biggest lead. Actually, I lied. It is the second biggest lead in baseball behind the Cubs in their division. So we're obviously going to be rooting for a pretty good season from the Athletics. We've got the Athletics colors on the screen right now. It's pretty cool. I'm just hoping that this
transfer portal. You did buy an Athletics jersey or shirt. I remember that.
I wanted to, but I couldn't.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't get a Ramon Laureano shirt, which I wanted to do, but I couldn't. That was way back last year before all this Astros stuff started, because I've loved Ramon Laureano since the wild card of 2018. Just so that you know, it is not bandwagoning. You can ask my New York friends. I've been bragging about Laureano since his first season in the big league. So we then move on to the league leaders, unless you guys have anything to say about the division. Obviously, that is up to you. Marco, I'm sure you have something to say about yours.
Well, to be quite honest with you, it's a tighter race than we expected. But the fact is that the mystery team there is that the Rockies, At the beginning, I said, you know what, the Rockies, I just think they got to a really hot start. That's basically what happened. But they've been able to keep playing good baseball. They beat the Giants last night at the end of the game. I'm not saying like the Giants are a great team, but still they came from behind, I think it was. But the other team we were hoping for, the Diamondbacks, they're at the bottom of the division. They haven't done anything. Madison Bumgarner hasn't looked well at all in a Diamondbacks uniform. So it's a tighter race than we were expected. A lot of people were saying like Dodgers going to win this by a landslide, but as of right now, Dodgers, they're just not looking very good. Their bats are just not what we were expecting them to be. A lot of these players are just hoping to basically go for power and launch every single ball over the wall, and that's not what. Obviously, they're a big home run hitting team, but sometimes you have to change your philosophy and your hitting to make sure you're able to get runners up the base or just bring them in, so that's the biggest thing. I think also another thing that's really hurting the Dodgers is not having Corey Seager in the lineup. He was the hottest before. I think him and Tatis were the hottest hitters in baseball because he was leading the majors in hits. Corey Seager was hitting like crazy, so having him back in the lineup may change things around. But they really need to get their bats going. Cody Bellinger looks really, really bad. Max Muncy, he's had a couple home runs, but he's still hitting under 200. Cody Bellinger under 200. It's not the numbers we're used to, and it sucks to see that happening. So we hope that this race continues to be the way it is because we like tight races. But I hope at the end of the race we see the Dodgers win their division title, hopefully.
Yeah, and I want to just give a little Mets number as of right now to talk about that lack of offense. The Mets have left 149 people on base this season. But the more scary number is that the Mets have the 3rd highest batting average in Major League Baseball this year. They have a 256 batting average with the bases empty. But the worst part about that is with runners on base, they have the 20th average in baseball. With runners in scoring position, they have the 29th batting average in baseball. And with runners in scoring position and 2 outs, they also have the 29th in baseball with a 132 batting average. So at one point yesterday, the Mets actually have the highest batting average in the National League and the highest on-base percentage in the National League. But they have the 29th lowest 29th highest, second to lowest batting average with runners in scoring position in baseball. So if the Mets can start turning those bats into runs, well, then we might be in a different position next week. But I don't see that happening all too soon. But we'll see.
I'll just add something to your point. The fact that you lost Marcus Stroman, it's not going to help your bats at all, because if whoever fills in for Marcus Stroman, it's going to be a very hard task to fill. And if that guy who's going to basically fill in for him and keeps conceding runs, the bats are not going to be there for them. They're like, you know what, we're 5 runs down. We're going to lose this game. It could be like the second inning, and they'd be like, yeah, there's still a lot of game left, but you know what? We can't do this. That's the tough part, in my opinion, if I was viewing it from a Mets standpoint.
Yeah, very difficult. So we move on to the stats for the season, the league leader updates, and looking right away at the batting average. At the top of the
Black mid. Sorry.
Hey, he took it right out of my mouth. Last week, your league leader in batting average was Donovan Solano. He still has a 458 batting average, by the way. But at the top, Charlie Blackmon is so far this season 34 for 68, which means that he has a 500 batting average. The other thing to note in there is that it's not like he doesn't have many at-bats. He is also sitting – well, actually, he's not at the very top, but he's 23rd in baseball in at-bats. The highest total at-bats anyone has is 78. He has 68. So Charlie Blackmon, man, this guy is making an early push for MVP. I mean, he's chased batting titles so many times. I'm sure I don't remember how many he's won. I think he's won one of them already. So, I mean, this is the fuel for the Rockies. I've been wondering the entire season, where are the stats to back up the Rockies playing so well? There's nobody that's been standing out. It's been a team effort, but now you've got Charlie Blackmon, who has secretly risen from the ashes and has become the top player on this team, which is good for him. He absolutely deserved that. He has been such a top-tier player, and so that is something that is to be seen if that'll continue through the season. He could be the first player since Ted Williams to bat over 400 if he can do so this season. He can also set a major league record for the highest batting average in a single season if he can bat over 401. But problem is, full well and good that if that happens, that is going to be so thrown out of the water, no one's going to believe in it. But the thing that I've been saying is, I want to hear your perspective. I'm going to ask all of you, but do we think that if that record is broken, that it will be stood as the major league record? Because the thing for me is that we've also had some other really crazy records that we would like to see broken, but if one, it's got to be all or nothing. It's either this season counts and all the stats that happen will count for records, or it doesn't count at all. And then this way you can't really count anything, including World Series. So I want to hear after that. I want to hear everyone's perspective. We'll go with Nick, and then we'll go along the way we've been doing.
Well, I love seeing records broken and everything like that. But for a stat like this, where obviously at bat, if you're not playing 102 games of a season, you're not going to get as many at-bats, which means the way I see it is that Charlie Blackmon's having an awesome start to the year, and that potentially, if the season were to continue, that he wouldn't continue that trend. Because obviously, batting 500 is an insane feat, no matter where you are in the season. But if he were to continue that through 162 games, we could probably see the average dip around the 350s, 360s. So in my opinion, if he were to break the record, I don't think it should count, just because you're missing 102 of those games. And it's not fair to those players that it's not fair to the Ted Williams, the other players that had to play a full season and they've maintained the average throughout the entire year. That's just my opinion.
I have to second what Nick said. Yes, it's always awesome to see records broken, and it's really special, but I guess something you would say, if there was a 60-game season, and I'll use your team, Michael, and this was Pete's first year and he didn't get the 50-plus home runs, that would have been a different story. Right. If he didn't have the 162 games, he probably would have never had the chance to break that record. So I really think that records are awesome to look at. But Nick touches a great point. You're missing 102 games. out of the 60-game season. It's nice to see that record, but be broken. But at the same time, you never know what could have happened in those 102 games. You could have been on a slump for the rest of 102 games. You could have been exactly over 500 at batting average, but over the next 102 games, you would have been over, I don't know, for how many, and you end up with a batting average under 200. You just don't know. So I gotta second what Nick said. And what you said, Michael. Well, my response is, I think, like I said, records are nice to be broken, but I don't think they should be counting this year, because obviously we've seen all these records being broken, the long season, the full season, and that's what makes it so special. But I think with 60 games, it's easier for players to break records because they're going to be counting them, but I really don't think they should count records this season without it. Yeah, I wouldn't.
Okay, first off, you see this a lot with Charlie Blackmon, is that he starts out a season really well, then starts to taper off. It's happened a lot. But he's still a solid hitter, and I completely disagree with you, Marco. It's impressive whenever you do it. If you can bat 560 games, that is impressive. I don't think.
Yeah, but you got to think about it. Like, obviously, 60 games, you get 500. That's awesome. But you said it yourself, Ryan. He has a great start, but then he tapers off throughout the rest of the year.
If he does,
yeah, exactly. That's the big word. That's the big word right there. If he doesn't, but what if he does? You just don't know. Yes, he's won a batting title before, but he's been a great hitter. But we just don't know if he would have been able to keep that momentum for the 102 games that were left. We just don't know. So that's why, I think.
So if he does it and he hits 560 games, you have to count that. Yeah. It's not like they.
No, you can't. You can't because it's 102 games that he's missing. The majority of a regular season.
I don't care if you do it over 30 games. I don't care if you do it over 60 games. That is damn impressive.
Obviously it is, but is it even more impressive if you do it 162 games?
This is your logic. If the Dodgers win World Series, doesn't count.
If it is, I said it from the beginning. I'll be happy if they win it, but would it feel the same? No, because it's 60-game season. And besides, like I said, now extended playoffs, it won't feel the same. Will I be happy? Of course I'll be happy to win a World Series. But I wish it was a 162-game season that they win the World Series, not 60 games, because it will have the same feeling.
So I've got a little thing that is interesting, that Max Scherzer has had 200 strikeouts in each of the last 7 seasons. This year, if he were to hit 200 strikeouts this year, he would tie the all-time record of 8 consecutive seasons. But he is going to lose that record no matter what, because there's no way he's throwing 200 strikeouts. So that is the other thing. That's why I said it's all or nothing. So if you want to count the 500 batting average as a batting average record, then you also have to count the record of Max Scherzer. But if you don't count that,
and just find what number he has to hit to tie the record.
Right, but you can't do that. It's still 200 strikeouts. So that's the problem.
That's the issue. Like, Ryan,
you can't assume someone's numbers for 102 games after this.
Right, of course.
He could get traded. Something could happen.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I'll say this too. We knew that in 2017, Cody Bellinger, he was the Rookie of the Year before Pete Alonso came in 2018. And 2019, excuse me. But we saw how in the first half of the season, Cody Bellinger was hitting bombs left and right like nothing. But second half of the season, after All-Star break, he was going down, going super down. You never know if Charlie Blackmon would have happened that to him. You just don't know. He's a great hitter, smart at the plate, great at bats. Every single at bat he does. Leader and face of the Colorado Rockies. Because of him, they're in a hot spot. But you're missing 102 games, man. You just don't know what would happen. And like you said, Ryan, if the Dodgers win the World Series, I'm happy. Not as happy if it's 162 games. Because it's so so different. This season is going to be remembered, and it has to have an asterisk for the rest of our history. It's not going to have it because we know how MLB is, but the fact that this season is just not. Hopefully, we'll never see a season like this ever again. Hopefully, and we go back to normal next season. But still, it's going to be completely different.
Ryan is officially left us.
Yeah, he didn't like what I said.
But I think, look, the problem for me is that I looked at that Max Scherzer record yesterday, and I felt so bad because that's a record that I've been watching him chase ever since being on the Nationals, and now that he can't get it, it is so disappointing, and I feel for him. And it makes you say, like, all right, we should be able to throw this season away so that he can get that record. He deserves it. But on the other hand, if we do that, then we also can't count the records that we will be seeing in other scenarios like Charlie Blackmon or possible ERA records, other things like that. So this is going to be a very unique way of how they approach this. We might see them keep some records and throw out others, which I think is ridiculous because, like I said, I think it's all or nothing. So we'll see. We've obviously got a long way to go the rest of the season. Charlie Blackmon might fall off and hit 389, and we might not even need to worry about it. But as of right now, he needs to hit 360 for the rest of the season in order to reach that 400 mark. So we'll see. We'll see. There's a lot to go into it. So then we move on to the home runs. This has been and always is my favorite category for the entire year. The home runs, that's something I chase. I love it. Home run derby is my favorite day of the year. I mean, I think it's a lot of people's favorite day of the year. But for me, seeing all of these people hitting home runs right off the bat, the top three guys, Aaron Judge, Fernando Tatis Jr., Castellanos, and Trout in the tie for third. That's just impressive right there. The cooler part about it, though, is that it's going to be a constant race the entire season. Yes, Aaron Judge holds that lead right now, but excuse me. I mean, you can't count the fact out that, you look at Jacoby Jones from the Tigers, who has 5 home runs. He's only 4 out of the top. That's not that difficult. All he needs to do is have 2 big games, and then he can find himself in second place. Nick's just loving this season. It's been a great year for him. Yeah. So, I mean, it's been a crazy race. And if Fernando Tatis Jr. were to win this, I believe they said that he would be the youngest player to ever win the home run title because I think he's younger than Pete Alonso. Yeah, he's younger than Pete Alonso. So he would be the youngest player to ever win the home run title. I mean,
he's my age, bro. He's 21.
Yeah, right, exactly. So that's what I was saying.
And I'm here talking about him. My gosh. Yeah, what have I done with my life? Oh, my gosh.
It's like Juan Soto is your age as well, and he won a World Series last year. So imagine winning a World Series.
Oh, thanks, bro. Rub it in. Thank you.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Sorry. No, I was more talking about age-wise. I was thinking about that yesterday, and thinking about like, wow, these people are 2 years older than us. Marco's age. It's crazy. It's very crazy. So that home run race is going to be fun to watch. Aaron Judge obviously has the benefit of playing in a smaller ballpark, but it doesn't take away his power. He's hit some big-time home runs, and that's going to continue throughout the rest of the year. Ryan, welcome back. We're happy to have you back. We're going to move on, though, to the RBIs. The last spot over here, and it is a tie for first in Major League Baseball between Charlie Blackmon and Aaron Judge. Both have 20 RBIs. Obviously, Judge fueled by those home runs, Blackmon fueled by that 500 batting average. It's going to be a fight to see who's going to be superior, the home runs or the batting average in that RBI race. Obviously, Blackmon coming in clutch there really helps him out a lot. So MVP races early on, Charlie Blackmon and Aaron Judge are obviously at the top of that. Then we move over to the pitcher's side of things. The ERA, there are only 2 people in Major League Baseball that have an ERA under 1 this season that have qualified for it, Ryan, and that is Randy Dobnak of the Twins, the Uber driver. I remember that last year when he came up and everyone was like, oh, my God, he's got a 5-star Uber rating. How cool. So Randy Dobnak has a .9 ERA as a starting pitcher. This guy's on the verge of being the Cy Young this year, first of all. And then you've got the other guy under 1, which is Trevor Bauer. So Trevor Bauer has been really, really good early on.
I love that guy.
Oh, yeah. He is amazing. He's 2-0 with a .93 ERA. His whip is fantastic. We'll get to whip in a second. But those 2 guys looking good. I mean, taking a checkup on Shane Bieber. He's gotten his ERA up to 1.63, so he's kind of slipping in that regard. And then Jacob deGrom is a 2.45, the two Cy Young probables at the moment. But, Trevor Bauer is really looking good. And we also spoke about Sonny Gray last week. He had a rough start his last time out. So that's obviously important to note. But the strikeouts, no one's going to argue the fact that Shane Bieber has been so dominant in the strikeout category. 43 strikeouts has been amazing. Dylan Bundy and Sonny Gray tied for second. Dylan Bundy, come on now. 35 strikeouts for him. That's an amazing total. And then the funnier thing about this is you look at 3, 4, and 5 are Sonny Gray, Trevor Bauer, and Luis Castillo, all Cincinnati Reds. So that Reds rotation is really hot, and if they can keep that up, then the Reds might be able to have a chance at that division lead, but right now they're falling behind. And then the whip, Trevor Bauer is kicking everybody with that .57 whip, an insane whip right now. He has just been so good. And Aaron Nola with his last two amazing starts has gotten that whip down to a .62. So good for those guys. We're looking at pitchers looking this season really, really good. Some of them are falling off. So for me, it's been crazy to see how they're looking. But let's get in to the players of the week, hitter and pitcher. And for me, starting it off, Charlie Blackmon, no question in my mind, is your player of the week, or hitter of the week. He batted .654 in the last week. He hit 2 home runs, drove in 10, and he has an OPS of 1.677. That is an insane OPS. That's incredible. That's an OPS. If you think about that, an average slugging percentage leader has a .650 slugging percentage at the most at the end of the season. If that were the case for right now, Charlie Blackmon would have an on-base percentage of 1,000, which is obviously impossible, which means that he's somewhere around the 800 mark. But still, I just can't believe how well this guy did in the last week. So it's been a pretty crazy start to the season for Blackmon, but in this last week, I don't think there's any question that he is my hitter of the week. So, Nick, what do you got for your hitter of the week?
Blackmon, 100%. Record or not, the spin's obviously something we've never seen before, and I really hope he can keep it up just for controversial purposes. It'd be cool to see them debate whether he'd get the record or not. But yeah, it's got to be Blackmon, 100%. I actually don't know how he didn't win Player of the Week this week. I think Fernando won. Obviously, Fernando was deserving in any other situation, but Blackmon has to be Player of the Week. He's hitting 500.
No question about it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to choose the guy that actually won it. I'm going to go with Fernando Tatis because of the fact how good he's been playing. This guy, obviously, he's not having the average like Charlie Blackmon has, but the guy, he's just one home run away from leading the majors in home runs at 21 years old. He's made the Dodgers look like trash. He's gone yard against them a couple times. He's good defensively. He picks up ball. He racks up balls like it's nothing. This kid, he's so good, man. Dominic is going to love me saying this, but Fernando Tatis, he's just so good. He is the face of a franchise which is full with great players.
Mm-hmm. Chris
Paddock, and you have a Cronenworth, Eric Hosmer at first, and Manny Machado. But who stands out? Fernando Tatis Jr. So I got to say, he is my batter of the week. Ryan might not like that.
My hitter of the week is going to be Tatis as well. He's playing at an insane level. He's playing at an MVP level. He's only 21 years old in his second season, and he is playing at the top of his game. He is the face of the Padres franchise, and he's a key part of the future for the MLB. He is insane. The past 7 games, he has 12 hits, 5 home runs, 8 RBIs, and is batting .414 with a .966 slugging percentage. You can't get much better than that. He's playing at an insane level, and he's just carrying and leading that team to where they are. Without him, the Padres aren't winning games. They're struggling to win games. He is really the cornerstone of that franchise and of that team. Tatis, I'll say right now, early front runner right now at MVP in the NL. Turn on to Tatis. So he's my hitter of the week.
Yeah, I got a second to that, Ryan, because of the fact if it wasn't for Tatis, I don't think the Padres would be where they're at today. If it wasn't for him,
him, they
this
don't.
would have been.
What happened once he got hurt last year? They need Tatis. They need Tatis badly, and that's just it's proven. Without him, they're not having the success they're having.
Very, very true. So that brings us to the pitcher of the week. I am sticking with a Padre here, but one that nobody is going to think about. This is a reliever, Matt Strahm. In the last 7 days, he has pitched 4 games, 5 2/3 innings pitched, 3 strikeouts, hasn't given up a base runner. That is 6 innings from a reliever in 7 days without giving up a base runner. It was hard for me not to pick Aaron Nola, very hard, but I mean, Matt Strahm, man, I can't go against that number. A 0 whip in 6 innings pitched for a reliever, that is not easy to do. It is something that you won't see very often, and that is the main reason why I picked him. Going that many innings as a relief pitcher, seeing so many different batters, probably seeing some hearts of the orders, and not giving up a single base runner, it is very difficult to do. That's why Matt Strahm is my pitcher of the week.
That stings because the Royals traded him to the Padres. That just
It's rough.
I'm gonna go to the AL West here. I'm gonna go with Oakland Athletics pitcher Frankie Montas. Specifically for what he did against the Astros the other day. He went in 7 innings pitched, gave up 2 hits, no earned runs, 5 strikeouts. Over his last 2 starts, he's averaging 7 innings pitched and 7 strikeouts. Obviously the Astros haven't been off to the greatest start, but to shut down that offense, to give up only 2 hits is just something worth noting, and that's my pitcher of the week.
I'm going to go with someone who I've been a serious fan of this entire season, and he has an ERA of .93, and that, ladies and gentlemen, or in this case, just gentlemen. Mr. Trevor Bauer. This guy is pitching out of his mind. That rotation in Cincinnati looks so good. It just sucks that basically the offense is not there, how they were hoping it was going to be there. But if it wasn't for their pitching staff, they're loaded. If it wasn't for the pitching staff, the Reds could be the whole entire season at the bottom of the division, But Trevor Bauer, he's just been such on a tear right from the get-go. And watching his vlogs, this guy is just so hardworking, so committed, and such a down-to-earth guy that he's like, you know what, I'm just here to play baseball, and I'm going to do whatever I can to make my team win. So I'm going to go with Trevor Bauer.
Okay, for me, Michael, you said him, but didn't pick him. Aaron Nola for me. I really think Aaron Nola has been terrific. The past week against the Yankees, he goes 6 innings, gives up only 3 hits, and strikes out 12. That's arguably the most dangerous lineup in the entire MLB, and he shut them down, basically. That was a terrific outing from him. And then comes back against Atlanta and goes 8 innings, gives up 1 run, 2 hits, and then 10 more strikeouts. He's faced 2 of the best teams in the entire MLB this past week and has just torn them apart and pitched really well. I don't know. I really like Trevor Bauer. He's had a good week. I really like everyone's picks, but I really think Aaron Nola's had a terrific week and deserves to be my pitcher of the week.
Some very, very good players. And this is also the first time this season that none of us had the same pitcher of the week. So that's pretty cool. We were all very different this week. Yes, high fives, virtual high fives. We'll be back to see each other next week to give high fives to each other. So my plan next week, just so that you guys know, we've got next Thursday, first day of school. We're going to be, one of my classes has already said that they're going to be online. But so far, I'm hoping that the rest of them stay in class. What, Ryan?
Both my classes on Thursdays are online now.
Oh, no. So that means that I think you were was that the class that we were in, the ethics? Oh, that's so annoying. That was the only class we had together. It's okay. I'll torture you on Zoom. It's fine.
Hey, come over and we can work together on the class.
That's true. You're right. That's very true. So
don't say that. Cronkite's gonna basically sue you or something.
No, cheating.
No cheating.
No, we're not
together to study for exams.
Hefty accusation there, Marco. We're not trying to cheat by any means.
Of course. I just want to put that out there so Cronkite doesn't come out and say like, "What are you guys doing?"
No cheating at all.
No cheating at all.
So next Wednesday, I'm planning on doing a podcast day before we go back to school, just for a little fun, because it'll be the last time that we do a podcast separate. Because I want to start doing those podcasts in person together, whether it be in the same room together. Or we're going to have to figure out a place to do these podcasts before we get back on Blaze. Whether we want to all go in the one, Ryan, what was the one room on the 6th floor that you like so much? We could go in there. I always
cave.
Yes, the cave. That would probably be a pretty good spot for us to go.
What cave is that?
It's the on the 6th floor, the media rooms.
Door.
The one that has the door. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I like that room.
The Wampus Cave. And the good thing is there's not going to be many people on campus this semester, I'm telling you. So we might be able to get in there and have our fun on our podcast. But I'm excited. Next week is our last show before we go back to school, before we're all back together. I'm really excited for it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I can't wait to be back and having this podcast where we can walk out of the room on each other. It's going to be exciting.
Out on you again. Don't worry about it.
Mainly on me, because we all know that everyone likes to bully me.
Takes, my friend. Not bully. Remember when all of us walked out and said the Mets were going to win the World Series this year?
I do.
Or when Walker Buehler's not going to win Cy Young because of Jacob DeGrom.
Hey, who was right about that?
Marco's face was so red. He was fuming.
Who was
right? Hey, the
though?
Season isn't over yet.
But who's pitching so much better? Jacob DeGrom.
Season's not over yet.
We're under an hour.
I know.
Yeah.
Yes. We did it. We're under an hour. We're having time to spare. I mean, come on now. This is amazing. We are going to make it. We're making
Something
it.
I was going to say, I think a really, really quick idea maybe for the next show, or if not, we each look at the schedule of our teams
and take
just guess
next week.
Huh?
Make a prediction of our record for the next week.
Exactly. There you go.
Okay.
You read my mind. My gosh.
Let me write that in there. Hold on. Let me write that in. Got to go to the layout. Hold on. Where's the layout?
But that's my idea. We'll do that next week if you want.
What do we want to do that after? The news, the plays of the week, standing update, league leaders, hitter of the week.
After standings.
Okay. Good.
We're still live. Just saying that. Okay.
I'm aware.
Okay.
They get to hear our decision-making process. They can just
upcoming week predictions for our team.
I'm just saying, like, if you haven't pressed end broadcast and we're gonna start, I'm not saying like, you know what I mean.
You've got 3 minutes to spare. I mean, this is amazing.
Yeah, that's true.
Exciting. I mean, that's just great. So that'll do it. We're gonna finish under an hour. Let's give a round of applause for ourselves. Let's do it. What'd you say, Ryan?
It's a miracle.
It is. It is a miracle. I am very proud of us. We've figured it out. We've finally figured it out. The key being under an hour. It's amazing. So thank you everybody for watching. We hope you all enjoyed this week. It's been an amazing time. We can't wait for next week. It is our last show being in our own respective places of living, I guess we could say, because we're no longer all in our homes. So we will what'd you say?
Still in my home and I want to leave.
But you won't be next week. It'll be our last time doing a podcast in the place that we sleep. So that is.
Wait, so I don't sleep when I'm in Phoenix? Is that what you're saying?
No, because we're going to be doing our podcast in school.
I know, I'm messing with you.
We're really trying to push it to over that hour, but I'm not letting it happen.
Or in your little where the TV is.
What'd you say?
You're a commuter student, so we might actually have one more podcast with you in the place where you sleep.
No, we won't, because I want to go to Cronkite to do my podcast. I mean, come on now. We're gonna be rolling with it. We're gonna have some fun. But thank you everybody for watching. We had a great week this week.